What's goody to the gods? What's popping to the people? Yes, we out here. We out here. And excuse me. I can't even say we're a day late because I'm thinking that I want to start dropping this on Tuesdays. There's some symbolism in Tuesday. I think we'll deal with that at a different time. The only thing I'll say is that we are defending ourselves against those that really believe in signs and symbols. So I feel to counteract that energy, maybe we need to start, moving off that same wavelength, kind of to where we move with a purpose. And I try to, of course I don't always, but I try to get to a state of mind where I'm moving more so with a purpose than not. I hate to just be doing things just for the sake of doing them, which we all tend to, but especially if you from the hood, you engage in a lot of frivolous stuff, sometimes because you want to, sometimes because they want to, sometimes because you're curious, sometimes just to kill the time. So, I'm trying to get away from that. I do it a lot because I'm a bit of a procrastinator, I'll admit. So I'm trying to work on that. Even to now, like it took me. I hate to even admit this. It took me about an hour to get in the mind frame just to even do this, and I think that's more so because, excuse me. I think I got a bit discouraged last week. It gets to a point where Dick Gregory used to always say, once you put on the magic glasses, you can't take them off. And that was just a reference of coming into knowledge or coming into the light or coming into, this newfound understanding, coming into consciousness, however you want to word it. But once you start to see things from a conscious lens and get a more conscious perspective, you kind of get alienated because the rest of the world didn't change because you did. Your peer group didn't change because you did. I mean, you may be able to enlighten one or two of them, but for the most part, they'll stay thinking how they think. And you beginning to elevate your thought process. So it's kind of like apple and oranges don't hang together, usually unless they're forced to in a basket, you feel me? So, with that being said, I'm giving all of this information out, and in all honesty, I did this. If you go back and look at anything I've done, for those of you who don't know me and those that do, if you just go back and just think about everything I've ever done since I've been, doing music and what have you, it was always a citywide thing. All my moves were directed towards something for the city. You look at my very first hip-hop video, we jumped in a stretch, I toured you around the city. I called it That's How It Is, to show you that's how it is for us. And that's because being around different places, a lot of people just had the impression that my city was so lame and just not on the level of other cities. And thinking in my mind state back then, I was attempting to try to glorify and bring light to my city and say, hey, we do the same stuff y'all do. That followed up with the whole Wallace World thing, which was a platform where if you had anything to do with underground hip-hop, modeling, entertainment, anything like that, if you was underground and on the verge of blowing with a nice following, you got an episode, we did a track together. That shed light on so many different artists because every week all you had was somebody different from my city. Now that reached a lot of different places. Even in my travels, I took it all over the place. Excuse me, this winter time stuff be killing me, man. Just little sinus and like bronchitis type stuff. So I hate claiming any type of illness, but you know, every once in a while it start to bug me. But anyway, back to the matter. So I said all that to say this. A lot of times I get misconstrued as the selfish bad guy or some type of evil entity, or I don't know. I know just people got a weird impression of me because they feel like they got some type of understanding of my previous knowledge in adult entertainment. And I guess because I have a background there, then that means I can't get smart. Or what people don't understand is even when I was knee deep in adult entertainment, even when I was knee deep in the streets, anybody who knows me, I've always been conscious. To this degree, no. But I've always been the smart kid. When we was thugging, straight gangbanging and all that, I've always been. And now, don't get me wrong. I had a very intelligent squad. Like, we had like a 6-7 man squad that everybody knew growing up. We was a fairly intelligent squad. No bummy, dusty dude squad. It wasn't that, you know. But I'm the bookworm. We all intelligent, but out of the whole squad, I probably will pick up the book first. We always intelligent, but out of the whole squad, I'm the one who's going to watch a documentary. I'm the one who's going to be watching History Channel or National Geographic. Not saying they wouldn't, but that's something that you could regularly catch me doing. I'm the last one to start skipping class. I'm the last one that started smoking pot. You know, that just is who I am. I'm the loner. A lot of times we on the block, everybody sitting back fellowshipping. I disappear, go off, do my own thing. I'm the only one on the block, never had a pair of Jordans. I've just always been my own entity that move how I move and think how I think, no matter what squad I was in, no matter who I was dealing with. I've just been different. So, and the only thing that means is I just use a different portion of my brain. Doesn't make me better or worse. And I, just as an individual, use a different portion of my brain. That, to my benefit, has led me to where I'm at right now, to where thinking different, daring to be different, and not being ashamed of being different has led me into the realms of consciousness. So now that I'm here, I feel like that is really a bigger sin, to know that there's something going on, something diabolical, that there's a bigger picture going on. You're privy to the information, whether you're right or wrong. In your heart, you're right. And you feel like, I have information that if I were to get that information out, I could somehow either make it better for the world, make it better for my people, make it better for whatever it is that's in my heart that makes me desire change. So, point is, the whole purpose of Gator Pit was to, was to bring consciousness to my city, who I felt was, I've traveled a lot of different places. I've done most of the country. And what I felt was that the people in my city were extremely intelligent on a level as far as just book smarts and vocabulary wise. The black people in my city, I felt like, were a step ahead in that department, per se, and more so in other hoods and places that I've been around the country. But on the backhand side, although being high up in book smarts and just how to speak properly and carry yourself, I felt like my city was higher up on that level than a lot of places I had been around the country. But on the backhand side, I felt we were the least conscious. Some of the information that I have trouble getting people to even accept here is common thought with black folks all over the country. So when I seen that, it was kind of embarrassing to see that how could we be this intelligent but don't know about the real world and our people. So through that was where I felt like I could fill a void and become useful to not only my city, but to my race. And with Madison being such a outwardly apparent multicultural place, I mean, there's a lot of racism, trust me, because this is one of the birthplaces of the Klan, not too far, Jamesville, Wisconsin, which is 40 minutes from where I stay. But all at the same time, this place will allow, it doesn't really tie the hands of black people. You can get your entrepreneurship on. You can really move in a certain way as long as you don't ruffle no feathers, but they don't really bother you too tough. So I felt like a city like this, where it's black folks to get conscious, could be a major place of building where, infrastructure could potentially be started because there's so much space given to you. But now, with all of that I just said, I have the most trouble just getting people to listen. And I think it's weird that people make time for all of this dumb shit but can't watch an hour documentary. The one I just did, Ego versus Consciousness, it was a 3-part thing that I had done before, and I realized that I was only getting views on the first of the 3 parts, which in essence meant people too lazy to go watch the other 2. And I can't say that, you can't say, well, I could say, well, maybe people just didn't like 1 enough to go watch 2 and 3, but then the very next week, I still got views equivalent to the first of the 3 on last week. So it wasn't that people didn't like the first one and didn't want to go see the second one. It was just they were just too lazy to either finish the first one to get to the next one, or after they're done with the first 38 minutes, wow, it was like, oh yeah, that's too much. I think that's disgusting. Like, you sit and watch Power. Now, I'm not as interested in this Power because I'm not shooting black people and selling dope, which, by the way, I love Power, so I ain't talking. But, I'm not interested in this Love and Hip Hop or whatever the crap y'all watching. I just sit back like, I've watched the episode of Love and Hip Hop. And for the sisters, for the females, that is so embarrassing that y'all even watch that bull. For the brothers that's watching it, I could hear all the justifications just running around in your head. I just watch it with my girl. I just watch it because the chicks is bad. I just try to keep up on... No. My screen even shaking when I'm shaking because my screen on y'all bogus. No. Real men don't watch Love and Hip Hop. Now, a lot of people go, oh, what's real men? So what you trying to say? Blah, 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 blah. We're not going to play that game on my channel. You know what I mean when I say real men. That's to be taken solely within the context of what we understand to be a man in this particular paradigm. So, if we have to break it down, I'll say, if you excuse men and say that just because you watch Love and Hip Hop, that doesn't make you less of a man, I'll agree. Then I say, as soon as you turn it off, get your ass on YouTube and watch something educational. But you ain't gonna do that. Because for one, your attention span ain't long enough to watch nothing educational for most of the part, most of you dudes. For two, you're scared of how your chick will look at you once you turn on something that probably gonna bore her for the next hour and a half, but gonna give y'all the most information you ever had in your life. 3, you scared that she may comprehend more than you, and then you'd have to explain why you ain't that bright. See, I know it's a lot of reasons why y'all don't want to dig into knowledge. None of them very manly. That's why I could say, from my own personal opinion, this is my channel, so it's my opinion, that real men don't watch Love and Hip Hop. Don't care who don't like it. I guess if you're doing it for research purposes, possibly, or if you are someone who is like maybe social media is your thing and it's kind of how you earn a living, or pop culture is kind of like how you do your thing, maybe through YouTube or through social media. If you got one of those type of things where it essentially helps you financially to know what's going on with stuff like that, then by all means, brother, watch Love and Hip Hop and get that check or whatever it is you're going to get. But if you all into the characters and you tweeting about who left who and how, no, not going to happen. Dude sitting on there, I mean, the whole concept is retarded. You got a bunch of black folks with more money than they ever had, and they can't stop cheating on each other and beating the crap out of each other. What are you so angry for? All of y'all was poor. Not all of y'all got bag. What is everybody so angry for? But none of that matters to y'all because it's entertainment, and you still haven't made the connection between entertainment and a setup. Even though I told you about the tail, lie, vision, y'all still lie y'all ass right in front of it and expect to see reality. And even though people know that it's scripted, I would talk to a female and she'll admit that she knows it's scripted. Then within the same breath, she'll get to telling me about the scenarios like they're real. And even if they are, why do we care? They did whatever they did to get their money. Get your ass up and go get yours. Because they're not going to pay you for watching this show. Then you say stuff like, well, it's just downtime. We just unwind and we don't take it serious. What makes you think you got so much downtime? Why, just because they ain't shooting nobody on Facebook Live this week that you know of? It started to get weird for me because I'm a street dude. Becoming conscious. I'm not a conscious dude that was in the street. I'm a street dude becoming and attempting to exercise consciousness. I've always had thoughts and a different thought pattern. I'm just now starting to try to put those thoughts into a formula and do something so that I can be beneficial to others. Because as far as we know, you get one shot at this planet. As far as we know. Now, I got lectures that say other things, but right now we're just going off of surface thoughts. You get one shot. What are you going to do? All everybody care about, I got mine. You read all down Facebook, I got mine. Cats showing their jewelry, cats showing their cars, women, hold on. Before we go any further. As a black man, trust me when I say, I am a huge fan of the butt. Absolutely love it. I'm a Scorpio, a bit of a perv. With that being said, don't you ladies think it's just a tad bit shallow to turn your butt to the mirror and take a picture? Which is 85% of the profiles I see. Either turn your butt to the mirror and take a picture, or sit on the sink and take a picture. Like, I love butt, but what does that mean? Like, that is so like, look at my booty. Like, what is that? How does that? I don't know. I can't even put it into words. It just says so much and so little about you at the same time. Like, why is that the first thing you want to... obviously, you're doing it to be seen. Let's get this out the way. Nobody shows their butt because they don't want to be seen. So, obviously, you're showing your butt so someone can look at it. Why do you want the entire Facebook looking at your butt, first of all? Second of all, what are you hoping to gain from that? Likes? So the mission is to get a bunch of people to like your butt. Okay. Then what? Let's just say you get 1 million likes on your butt. When you wake up tomorrow, what do you post again? Your butt in a different outfit and see how many likes you get today? Like, I'm just trying to get what is the point of it. If you got a new outfit and you're showing it off, I can see you do multiple flicks. One of them is a butt shot. But on a regular basis, y'all just go up there, put on some nice tight jeans or some sweatpants or some booty shorts, and you just turn your butt and take a picture. Or you bend over, you twerk, and you record it. And that same chick will tell some dude, get your thirsty ass out of my inbox. Baby, your vagina was hanging out the side of your butt shorts. I'm sorry, I got excited. Why wear a thirst trap and then call people thirsty? And it's weird to me. I mean, whatever. I like butt, but I just don't see the significance of that. And I've seen this personally. All this has a point. And I've seen this personally. And I see the same chick bent over in the butt shorts. The next day, post something about the hoes on Backpage. Here's another huge misconception. And maybe I'm tainted by having an adult entertainment background. But how is the chick on Facebook twerking for nothing better than the chick on Backpage twerking for something? It's weird either scenario, but I'm just saying. The point to this is thought process. Look at how we think. None of it holds any relevance. If a chick is on Backpage, you don't know her story. Maybe the primary bread earner in her family died and she ain't got no other option. Maybe not, but I'm just saying. My point is, she's doing whatever she's doing to make her way. And you got a problem with that. But you got no problem with your boyfriend selling all kind of crack to every black person he see. That's admirable. So let me get this straight. Selling crack to black people, or heroin, which is more popular these days, is an admirable thing. But being a single mother with no other options is looked down upon. Interesting. Which leads me to the point of this discussion. This is going to be called indoctrination. Yes. I went through that whole little spiel to see if you'll get caught up on the one little piece, or if you can follow the breadcrumbs that Hansel and Gretel left for you. And then maybe we can get some of y'all out the damn oven. So let's do this. And look, let's show y'all how serious I am about today. This is the first time I did this. I hate notes. Anybody know me know I hate notes. I took notes today, so I actually got notes for y'all. That's hot. If you know me, I don't do no notes. 3 seasons of Wally's World was a freestyle. I never even wrote not one scene down. A 20-year rap career, never even wrote. I mean, last time I wrote a rap was in 99. Most things I do mentally. All those lectures I've been doing, I get a topic, blaze before I start, and go in on y'all. Might as well get that out the way. I don't snort lines or no shit like that, but yeah, I'm a cannabis fan, and I do partake. So sometimes when I'm finna kick it with the family, why not? I know y'all gonna blaze for y'all turn it on. We gotta be in the same mind state, baby. And for y'all that don't, just know, marijuana connoisseurs don't get stupider when they smoke. So it's not like I'm puffing and then giving you faulty info. It's to all my non-cannabinoid listeners. Anyway. Oh yeah, just back to the notes. So you'll see me keep looking over there. Because when I go back and look at the lectures, it's certain things that I feel like that wouldn't have been bad if I had to put that there. Or certain things that I might have wanted to talk about initially. I get caught up in the moment and then I, slip my mind or whatever the case may be. So today, this lesson is so important. I want to make sure y'all don't get away, baby. Ain't no getting off the hook this time. Your boy got notes and things. So we're going to deal with this indoctrination thing. It says, the process of teaching a person or group to accept a set of beliefs uncritically. Let's say this again. Indoctrination is the process of teaching a person or group to accept a set of beliefs uncritically. So now, accept a set of beliefs uncritically. This is what indoctrination is. So now, we pretty much regurgitate everything. The people who have put this entire system together, and what I say, we'll say America, or just the way society is run, they are habitual regurgitators. Most things that you see in America that you think are original things from America are completely stolen, mostly from Africa. They are regurgitators, and they have taught you to do the same. You don't have very much original thought. You don't step outside of the parameters of what is considered the norm very often. You are conditioned to see things at face value and accept them. And that is called indoctrination. And that's what the problem is. Like with the thing I just said, as far as anybody could see that selling drugs to your own race is fucking crazy. Yet, I did it. Didn't think twice about it. Never even looked at it from that aspect. So, this is a desensitization thing. To where, and it takes place with the tail live vision, which is a huge tool used for the indoctrination process. Because if you think about it, everything we do, our entire being comes from the television. And a lot of people are going to disagree with that, but hold that thought, I'm going to prove it. Not now, but we're going to come back to that. I just had to plant that seed. Keep in mind, we are an indoctrinated being. Most of our thoughts and behaviors are not of our own. We just think they are. So now let's start with the beginning of the indoctrination process. I said in the last lecture, I'm going to say it this time. We deal with slavery for the purpose of getting past it. People always tell you get over slavery. You can't get over it until you understand it and deal with it. So what I do is deal with it so that we get it and then we can move past it. So a lot, you'll hear me start there. But we won't stay there, so don't worry about it and don't let that be a turn off. Just chill out. Y'all so damn emotional. Jesus. Anyway, so like slavery is important because this is the beginning. This is excuse me, well I would say phase 2 of the indoctrination. Phase 1 started when they were sneaking their little sneaking ass in there, stealing all our lessons. getting educated by us knowing that they had ulterior motives. That was phase one. Phase two begins once we're here. So you'll go, now there's evidence that this date, it varies depending on which circle you're sitting in. So for the sake of speeding along this discussion, we're going to use the date that was given to us by Google, which makes it easier for you guys to reference and see where I'm coming from, because it's still the significance of the date wouldn't change considering what we're about to speak about. So we'll just put it that way. All right. So according to Google, 1619 is when the first slaves arrived from Jamestown. So now, if you want to say 1619, now by 1630, somewhere in the mid 1600s, the Bible, the KJV, King James Version Bible, was all through the country. And it's another problem that, well, not another problem, it's just another thing that's open for discussion with you Christians, who another form of indoctrination when it comes to religion. You just believe what you hear. The Gutenberg Press printed up the first Bibles. The Gutenberg printing press printed up the first Bibles, facilitating them through America. So let's understand that this is a business. I think we get caught up in the mysticism of religion, and we forget that religion is a business. And Christianity, the religion of Christianity, is the same religion that frequently you hear at church and through lessons. You hear the pastor speak against the money. Money's the root of all evil. They tell you rich man can't get into heaven. They got all these sayings that go against pursuing wealth. So if you have a religion that goes against pursuing wealth, how can its book be the #1 selling book in existence? Because that's a lot of wealth going to somewhere. It's a lot of wealth going to somewhere. But we don't question these things. Why? Indoctrination. We get here at 1619. Books here at 1630, 1631. So it's safe to say, by 1650, 1660, all those slaves had been Christianized. How were they Christianized? Were they allowed to sit down, listen to the word of God, and make an intelligent decision based on the information given to them? Or were they told, this is the word of God, don't believe it, and you get beat to death? Which form was used to teach these slaves the word of God? See, this is the gray area that we as Christians, especially black folks, don't like to deal with. You can't skip past this. Everybody want to just go to church and not deal with what we're dealing with right here. Excuse me. You have to deal with the fact that that book was forced into the mind frame, the consciousness of the African. The African did not get off the boat a Jesus-loving Christian. Now, if we all can admit that our ancestors got in this land via slavery, then we have to understand we need to understand what were our ancestors before the arrival. Why is no one concerned with what were our ancestors before we got here? How is that not significant? That is everything if you really think about it. That is so important, it's ridiculous. What were we before we got here? And if we were not Jesus-loving Christians before we got here, then why are we now? This is important. You cannot overlook it. This is called indoctrination. Where's the proof? Let's use some common sense. Let's just get away from all of the where'd you get your sources? Where'd you read to get this information? Let's just use what the Creator gave us and think. Why on earth would your slave master hand the slave the true word of God to learn? Think about, in your mind, you can't possibly, like I know, just please think with me, y'all. I know y'all going to sit here rationalize it with all the excuses you've been told. But I'm begging you to just step away from everything you've been told and just rock with your boys. Just think for a minute. Why? You got property that you just brought in. Your intentions is to take this property, abuse it, and build you a nation. You completely control the mind, body, and thought process of these people. What good does it do you to give them a true connection to God? How does that help the slave master who doesn't even believe in the God that he's forcing you to believe in? Because all of those messages from Jesus are messages of peace. How can you preach those on Sunday? It's even places where, do you realize, and shouts out to Brother Polite, who recently, and I will get the information for you guys because I just thought about this, recently went to one of the islands, I don't want to say West Virginia, but I'm not sure, don't quote me, but he recently went to a former slave quarter where they were bringing the slaves in right off the boat and taking them in there. He was actually walking through there and showing us the slave quarters and all that. And right upstairs, over where they had all of these slaves that had been raped, beaten, and abused, the slaves downstairs, and they're upstairs having Sunday mass. How can you possibly have Sunday church talking to the real Creator, and you got raped, murdered, abused, hostages right up downstairs? Those people cannot possibly really have any intentions of connecting you with God if they don't. We got to think for ourselves. No slave master has righteous intentions for the slave. So, if we can follow this thought, just follow the thought. If we know the slave master has no good intentions for the slaves, then we know that there's no way he's going to give them a real spiritual book. Why? Spirituality is the key to your salvation. Why is a slave master going to give a slave